It is 7:03, and I will open the June 10th, 2024 Dartmouth Town Planning Board meeting with a roll call vote. Margaret Sweet,
Here.
Kevin Estes,
Here.
Kevin Mello, present. We will move on to agenda number, for everyone watching this meeting is being filmed in videotaped, sound, voice, and video. So at this time, we will start with administrative item number 1, approval not required. 80 Slade Street. Christine?
Yeah, so as you said, this is 80 Slade Street. It's Assessor's Map 165, Lot 42. It's at the end of Slade Street, so Slade in Philbrick Street. Philbrick Street is a paper street. We do have somebody on from the surveyor who is going to speak to this. I did speak to John Romanelli from Zenith today, and we have Terry. I'm sorry, I don't remember your last name, Terry.
McGovern.
McGovern, that's right. We have him on to speak to it. So basically, this is a lot owned by Burgess, and he is trying to subdivide out a piece for his daughter. The conservation agent had been out at one point to check flags somewhere earlier in the process. We are going to request a couple of additional changes to this plan that was submitted. Basically, what it is it appears as though maybe the residents just before the intersection with Slade and Philbrick, and then maybe the owner of the 80 Slade Street are using some portion of the paper street, which was in existence prior to 1948. So they are currently using it now. My concern is that DPW and we were looking at maybe trying to have the owner do a street extension like we've done with some of the other ones, where we would come in 50 feet off of the, into the property, the proposed property, to cover it. We've also talked about, I did talk to the surveyor about possibly contacting the owner about maybe making his lot an estate lot that would only require 50 feet of frontage, and then maybe having his daughter's lot go off of his driveway, like off of the common driveway. There is maybe some other consideration with maybe making the paper street, more in compliance with DPW standards. So I think we need a little bit more time on this one. I don't know. Terry has indicated that they are willing to sign a letter to be provided, giving us a little bit more time on it. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. This is why I brought it forward now. Technically, I mean, it's a private street in existence before April 7th, 1953, which in the opinion of the planning board is sufficient with suitable grade construction to provide adequate access in municipal services to every lot in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 4181. So this obviously, it's narrower. It doesn't meet all of our requirements. It is paved in some way. I don't think that the fire department would be comfortable with this. So that's why I'm suggesting maybe that we try to do something off of the main property of 80 Slade Street. I think your package had some additional pictures. It was also on Google Earth to get a better handle for it. And then if you want to look at it prior to the next one, there are some retaining walls around there. So that was part of my concern. And then one of the other things we would be looking for is we need a little bit more information on what the upland and the wetland is for the proposed lot. The larger lot, they have more than enough upland. They do have quite a bit of wetland. It hasn't all been flagged at this point. I don't think it's going to be flagged. My main concern is with the lot to be created. So I don't know if Terry, if you have anything else that you'd like to add to this before the planning board kind of asks their questions?
I think you've covered everything, Christine. You know, the wetland tailing off, I think the biologist carried it back far enough to know he had 150 feet back. Mr. Borges isn't doing anything with the property he's retaining, so we can add the upland area to that, just indicated on the plan. I was actually out there last year when we did the plan on Morton Street on the side. And I went back out there recently to look at that end of it because I had actually surveyed down in that area and kind of just got the impression it's a driveway. It's got the retaining walls on either side. To me, the critical thing, we had actually asked Mr. Borges to meet with either fire or police, somebody from safety, public safety, to look at it. And, you know, whether ultimately there is an area in there that I think they could widen out a little bit. You know, if it means moving the retaining wall, it kind of has a break in it. So maybe up to that part of it, he'd be willing to move that part of the wall to gain some access in there. And then he could talk about doing a T turnaround or something of that nature that would be suitable for an emergency vehicle to turn around. I don't think he can quite get by with, there is some gravel that extends off the other way, but you know, to get right to the lot itself, I think he's got to get the fire department to answer that question. And that's what I feel too, looking at it. It's not just the area, it's what we call the access to the buildable portion of the lot. That's one of the things we're supposed to look at. So as I mentioned, we'd be happy to give a letter and extend this out. You know, we can extend it out another 21 days or pick a date in July that you're going to meet on, and we can bump it off till then.
So the next meeting for the planning board is on the 24th of June. I don't know that I have the July things here. I know that we don't typically ask fire and police to look at it, but that is something I could do. I know that DPW went out there, they have concerns. I know that conservation ended up having concerns. I think that there are ways to accommodate this. I just am not sure what the best thing is. So I didn't know if you had any additional things you would like to do. I do agree with Terry that maybe on the as you're going up to where the proposed lot would be, the piece on the left-hand side, abutting the proposed lot A on your plan would make the most sense to take that retaining wall out on that side. Again, it's very, very low. It doesn't go very far. There is a break in it. So that would seem reasonable. Again, my concern is, you know, I don't know whether or not DPW would be in agreement with, you know, having this driveway, this common driveway on a public street, that it doesn't meet the, you know, the roadway requirements. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they'd like to,
Christine, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to go out there, so I personally would like to postpone this just so I can go out there and take a look. I'm just a little concerned about the roadway.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm definitely not going to have you make a decision on it tonight, but I just didn't know if you had any thoughts or just in general. You should definitely look at this one.
Yeah.
Christine, can I throw this up really quick and just share the screen?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
let me. Okay. Okay, hopefully now you can see the plan and see the area. And basically the retaining walls that Christine is talking about, there's this section in the middle that says Bit Concrete Drive. The wall to the right-hand side, the easterly side, is pretty high. It's about 3-4 feet high. very substantial. I think there may be a little drainage pit or something in this little bump here. The one to the left is much lower. There's kind of a break in here where there was like a gravel access down into this area. It's not a very big break though. And then the wall picks up the same thing a couple of feet high beyond it. You know, for the lot being 200 feet long, to say that you could maybe get 50 feet of it opened up, probably be right about the end of where the word says drive in here. I think, you know, I'd like to hear from DPW, and I think I would really like to hear from the fire department myself on it. So as I said, you know, and that to me makes the most sense.
So the other thing that I'm thinking as well is we do technical reviewer meetings every 2 weeks. So our next one is scheduled for June 25th. We had already canceled the one on June 11th for tomorrow, but at Tuesday, June 25th at 10 a.m. And what we do is we bring together all of the varying department heads reviewing any projects. So, and then the fire chief for the district and the safety officer would come in to look at it as well. So that might be an option. So then that would put the planning board at the July 8th meeting. I don't know if that's something everybody wants to consider.
I'm
It
fine
makes
with that.
sense to me. So
Yeah.
So Christine, my question is, how is the town treating this? I mean, this is an encroachment upon town land.
Right. I don't know how if anybody was aware of this level of thing, or if it all just, nobody said anything. Obviously now because I asked some questions, you know, I think now there's a little bit more interest in it. But there hasn't been any enforcement at this point, so.
Correct. And if we can work together with both parties to make it
Right.
work, that's
Right.
great. But I mean, we have to acknowledge that this is an encroachment. If someone further up the road is at some point wants to do something with their land, they could say this has to be removed. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. And like I said, DPW might have some concerns. That's why I was saying in this particular case, it might be wise for Mr. Borges to kind of come off of his own property with a common driveway through he's got some trees, some arborvitaes or something and maybe come right off of his driveway and not even touch this other Philbrook Street. I'm not sure what will happen. I can't project what's going to happen in the future, but there may be some concern.
Okay. And the estate lots are 50 foot of frontage, minimum 4 acre lots, or is it?
So this is general residence. So he needs 50 feet of frontage, and then new lot A, new lot B. I'm sorry, I don't have the other number in front of me right now.
Okay. I believe it's 4 acre.
Well, so yeah, for general.
I just don't want him to minimize his future. You know, this is for his daughter. What if he has a son, or what if he has a grandchild?
Right, well, so most of this is wet though, right? You know, we're seeing just
Okay.
based on the flags, right? And I'm sure that that's part of it, is he probably is trying to prepare, but at some point, somebody's got to put in for this roadway to be developed, if that's going to be the route he's going to travel. And this is unusual in the fact that I haven't really seen anybody get their frontage off of the end of a street like this. So, I mean.
This was similar, I think, to Patton Drive. We did Patton Drive several years.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I think we can make it work. It's just determine the best way to do this.
And we want to make it work, but
right. So if Terry is agreeable that Zenith come before us on the June 25th, that might be the way to get the whole process started. And then if we have the letter that extends you out till, after July 8th, then that would be something that I think would be amenable to all parties, I would think.
Okay.
And then I can get the opinions of the other professionals, in a more standard way.
So when do you want this on the agenda for next time, Christine?
So I have technical, we'll have them come before the technical reviewer meeting, which is 10 a.m. on June 25th, and then back before the planning board on July 8th.
I'll make a motion to extend this till July 8th.
Okay,
Second.
I have a motion by Margaret Sweet, a second by Kevin Estes. All in favor, Margaret Sweet,
Aye. Yes.
Kevin Estes,
Yes.
and Kevin Mello, yes.
So I
Thank you,
think that's
everybody.
it. So what we'll do is I will have somebody from the planning office send you out an invite, just so you know, like a formal invite on that you could put on your calendar and whatever. And we meet upstairs on the third floor of the town hall in the technology room. Okay,
Very good.
Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
All right. Item number 2, minutes from May 6, 2024.
It had been so long, it took us a little bit to figure out, to kind of go back through the minutes and everything, but there were no outstanding issues, so I don't know if any of you had anything with it.
No, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Margaret Sweet, a second by Kevin Estes to accept the minutes of May 6. All in favor, Margaret Sweet,
Yes.
Kevin Estes,
Yes.
Kevin Mello, yes. Correspondence, City of Fall River, Freetown, and Westport.
These are all pretty straightforward. There's nothing new here, or nothing unusual here. So you can make a motion to acknowledge and file.
Move to acknowledge and file.
Second.
I have a motion to acknowledge and file, or from Kevin Estes, second by Margaret Sweet. All in favor, Kevin Estes,
Yes.
Margaret Sweet,
Yes.
and Kevin Mello, yes. For your information, new business.
The first thing is for the zoning board of appeals, they did have a meeting, I believe it was on Monday night, or maybe last Wednesday. So, with regard to, 10 Bridge Street, which is the addition on the fire station. That is going to be going back through their office again. We do have, some plans that had been submitted as part of, in preparation for a site plan review application. Those plans will obviously need to be updated, and but have to make sure that we get the same set that they've gotten before the ZBA eventually. They are submitting, so I will keep you posted on that. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet right now. I don't know if anybody has any questions about.
Okay. I have no questions about it.
Neither do I.
Okay.
No question.
So, subcommittee reports, has anyone had any?
I
No.
did go to Southeastern Regional. I was a little late, unfortunately, because I was working. So I did hear, I guess what concerns Dartmouth was the bicycle path, which they really showed the pictures of Dartmouth in there, because we had just this community preservation had given them some money, and then we have kiosks. And so they discussed that for about half an hour and 45 minutes, I would say. The bike path is really, really a wonderful thing we've done, and they have done and paid money for. You know, it allows people another way of commuting.
I can tell you as follow-up to that, Chris Vitale, the assistant town administrator, is working with the bike groups on that. We have gone and listened to a couple of presentations by Serped. They've brought in some grant money. There was an email recently about some grant money, because we're doing this as a combined effort, with Westport and New Bedford, and obviously Dartmouth's got the biggest piece of it. There was some discussion, there were 3 different routes that they were looking at. But I'd say pretty much, it seems to be moving in the right direction now. So hopefully that you'll get more information on that. I don't know if Serped has do they have any of the graphics up on their website at this point or not yet?
Well, I don't know about on their website, but they did have some graphics at the meeting.
Right,
So it
okay,
might be up on their website.
right, okay. And I don't know that there were really any other meetings with town meeting and stuff like that, if there were many other,
There was a community
Meeting.
preservation, but I was not feeling well that night, so I did not go. So I can't
Okay.
tell you what transpired. I will be going to one tomorrow.
Okay. And Kevin, you said you had nothing.
I did have nothing.
Okay. As do I. So on to the planners report.
Right now, mostly what Ross and I are working on is some updates to GIS materials. We're working with Chad from the select board office. We're making some transitions. We put some additional mapping information right into the online permitting system, in addition to upgrades to a number of the different things on the Map Geo. We're going to be transitioning to something called Mass Mapper, which is a free service provided by the state. It's got the latest and greatest updates. So then we'll be cutting out a middleman that we currently are paying, and those things have been outdated like since 2013, 2014. Nothing's been changed in most of those cases. So we're kind of really pushing right now while some of the project things are a little bit slower. It's a big opportunity to do some of that. That being said, we did receive some additional information for the batting cages, so I will keep you posted on that. And then trying to think, I did a review of Rockland Apartments, and then made some comments on the retail marijuana establishment at 747 State Road. We've also been contacted by a couple of developers for a couple of projects that'll be coming probably before you in the fall, some larger scale projects actually. So we'll keep you updated on that. The other thing is, I guess that's pretty much it. We spend this time of year, while, as you all know, the accessory dwelling unit item passed at town meeting. I now bring the information, there seems to be some confusion, but I bring the information to the Attorney General's office. And then it takes them a few months to get back to us to make sure that, we've done everything in accordance with, the advertising dates and all of that stuff. So when the actual accessory dwelling unit bylaw will come into effect once we hear back from the Attorney General's office, and that's standard procedure.
I was
Okay.
very happy to see that the town meeting passed that.
Yes, I was too, actually. You all worked hard on it. I think that there was it was really well thought out and planned, and I think it was
And needed.
a huge
And-
step. It's definitely needed, and I mean, I think it's really good for the town. I do think it kind of cleans up some other things. So obviously, town council worked hard with us on it as well. Overall, it was very good. I was very pleased with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, chairman's report, you did a great job presenting it.
Yes,
Yeah.
You really did. Very limited questions,
right.
very limited questions. I was very
Well,
happy to hear some support from people that we
In the
didn't know
audience.
coming.
Right, right, right. I think it was good too. We approached it a little bit differently. I think probably what helped was the handout
Yes,
in the packet. I think that definitely
Mhm.
kind of helped to explain some things. I mean, there was maybe going to be a question or two as a result of it. Obviously, there was also the coverage from DCTV, which is something we haven't really done before. So there were people who asked questions earlier in the process, which maybe helped, and that helped prevent some of the questions at town meeting because people had contacted the office about it. So that is definitely some things I would keep in mind for the future, for certain articles. you know, I think that was good.
Hey, and it only took 10 years. What can,
Right. Who's counted?
true, true.
So I just wanted to give you, and follow up to that. So I know we don't have the newest member yet. That'll be something that the select board will be taking up, I assume, in the very near future. They have 2 applications or that I know of, for sure. I don't know if they received any additional ones.
I thought there were 3 in total.
Yeah, I thought there
Maybe
was.
there was, okay, so there might be 3. So they will at some point be reaching out to have you all come in and
Okay,
work with them to kind of go over who's going to be next. In the
Before April 2025.
before April.
Before
No
that,
comment. No comment.
if you can be a little squeaky, if you
I
could be a
think,
little squeaky for us, please.
right, well, I think, yeah, there's a lot going on right now, so, you know.
There is, but ours is relatively simple in the grand scheme of things.
Right, it is relatively simple,
Take
it
the
is,
small
okay.
things off your plate.
I will give some gentle reminders. I will do that. I will do that. But I just wanted you to know, like, so I put the priority list in there so you can kind of just be
Yep.
thinking about it, because we'll reorganize a little bit once you get your new member, and then we will bring up the thing of priority list. So that we're kind of looking at some implementation things on the master plan. We're kind of looking at some of the article changes, updates that need to be happening. So we're doing those in the meantime until these other pieces of the board come to fruition. So I didn't know if somebody walked behind me or not.
yes, was it your dad, I think,
Was it
maybe?
maybe my dad? All of a sudden I saw something go by, and usually it's my cat. Sometimes it's been my
No,
elderly
no, it was a
neighbor.
person.
So I'm losing my mind basically. So just to give you some ideas of like some of the things that we're going to start tackling until your actual formal list is
Okay.
prepared. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And then other than that, I would say that that's what I have right now.
When's our next meeting?
The next meeting is June 24th.
Okay,
So that would be one day before that technical reviewer meeting.
Mhm.
And again, because I didn't bring the A&R tonight before the technical reviewers, because, it's not something that we normally do. So I kind of wanted to talk to you about it first. And then it took a little time to connect with the surveyor about it, and, to go over some of the things, some of the potential options. So that's part of why some of that things came up. Some of the other things that are going on is we're working on the assessor tax map updates with the assessors, and then our mapping consultant, Ty and Bond. So we've got that process up and moving. We needed to get that started last month, so we did. We're moving ahead with that now. That's always a big thing this time of year. It's a good opportunity to get it done. Again, we'll do the basic things that happened as a result of subdivisions, but then it's also an opportunity to clean up some items. And now that we use all of this technology and all of these other mapping things in other places, we need to make sure that their base mapping is up to date and accurate and correct, so that, because it ends up populating a lot of the other data that we all use in town. So that has taken on even more of a priority. And then as a result of that, then Ross does the 911 update systems. So we've kind of worked that process out, especially with Chad, like I said, from the select board office. So, we're kind of bringing everybody together in new ways too, and using what we get for information and bringing it to the next level, actually. So. Overall,
Christine, I have a question, just a really simple question, I think. I think on the books, isn't every house supposed to have an address on its front doorway or somewhere on the house visible?
I don't know where the numbers are, but yes, everybody is supposed to have numbers. So we don't, the way it is now, DPW does not give a street number until somebody applies for it. So there's always a map and lot number once a lot is created. But the street number piece of it doesn't come into play until somebody's ready to build a residence or build a commercial building. It is supposed to be visible. As a matter of fact, we've been having an issue with something on not Potomska, well, anyway, one of them, because eventually whichever things don't have address numbers on them, the fire department often goes out and puts some red metal card type of signage around as well. So we have a couple of things with,
No, you
With-
have to buy those. You have to buy those.
oh, you
red.
pay for that? Okay,
You pay
okay.
for that from, I know from my fire department, District Two.
Okay, okay,
Pay
so
for-
maybe, yep.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that there are a lot of houses that don't have any addresses on it. Is there any way to kind of nicely coerce them to do something?
I don't know. I guess maybe that would be an enforcement thing. I don't know if that would be the zoning official or if that would be the
Okay.
DPW.
So
Or if
Margaret,
that's even the
Uh,
post office.
Margaret,
it's-
probably about 20 years ago, when I bought my house on Rockadundy Road,
Uh-huh.
it was a side deal, and I took on the smoke alarms in the smoke inspection personally.
Mm-hmm.
They would not give me my smoke inspection certificate until I put numbers on the house.
So that was the building
I don't
department?
know if that was
fire
the
department.
fire department.
Fire
I
department.
don't
was the
know
fi-
if that was just a really well in tuned inspector that day, or if that is common.
I'm
But
gonna ask our chief, here, because,
because if they don't, that's a good time for them. That's the best
That's
time
right.
for them.
that's right,
Right,
to do it,
right.
to mandate it, because, really, a lot, as I was riding by the other day, I was looking for an address, that's why. And I was amazed at how many houses don't have numbers on them.
Okay.
You have to,
Yeah, I can, that's something we can ask at the technical reviewer too.
yes,
Um, Yeah, I can do that. Who requires or who enforces?
I mean,
Yeah.
building permits, building inspections, we could enforce it there, or make it, that's one contact point.
yeah, but new construction's fine, it's the older homes that,
No, right, but as the building inspector goes in for a new bathroom, a new kitchen. a
Oh,
new
yes,
He could say, okay, Margaret, I think right now it's probably 99 cents a letter, a number.
Right.
So,
cheap enough,
$2-3, but
Right.
we could ask him to say, hey, can you make that part of your checklist? You need numbers.
very
And we're
good,
not trying to
Kevin.
inconvenience.
No, but I think what bothers me is if you have an emergency,
Right,
and even the fire department, when it's come in looking for a fire,
right. Well,
or-
that's why I said we have a
Yes.
problem. We do have a problem with one property that's way out there somewhere recently, and the numbers, as a matter of fact, that has letter designations, they're all 254 and they're 254 C
Oh.
and E, and they're backwards of what they should be, and it's been a real problem that we've been trying to work to get straightened out, actually.
I bet I know where that is. Well, that's all I have, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
just-
I will get you the answer for that. That's an easy enough thing to do.
Okay. So now, basically Chairman's report was to say, thank you, Christine. Great job.
Welcome.
I was right there. I was ready to go, ready to fight, and there was no need to. So even better, even better. And if you could just be squeaky with the select board
Yep.
to
Yep.
just
I can
give us
tweak.
a half hour of their time one night. That's all it will take. We have 3 applications. And they all speak for themselves. They all have different, strengths and weaknesses. Paper doesn't mean anything. I want to meet these people and listen to them. So that is pretty much it. Looking forward to coming up with the new priority list of which way we go for the next town meeting. That's my report.
Very
So,
good. Again, the next meeting is June 24th.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Second that motion, Kevin.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Kevin Estes, second by Margaret Sweet. All in favor, Kevin Estes,
Yes.
Margaret Sweet,
Yes.
Kevin Mello, yes. All right, thank you, everybody.